صباح الخير والسلام عليكم. معالي كتوفتكم سعادتكم, other ambassadors, dear friends. A few months ago, I was talking to a senior Jordanian woman, army officer, and she was telling me about the obstacles that she had had to face in reaching her very senior position, from her family, from her friends, from society at large. There was a reason why, as the JONAP points out, that Jordan is 86th out of 188 on gender equality, and 134 out of 144 on the Gender Gap Index. But one here is a start. But I asked her, why do you bother? Why, when it's so hard, do you still make that extraordinary effort all through your life? And she said, because I have a stake, because I have a child, because I love my country, because I want to shape it and to protect those, to protect my country and protect those I love. So surely our task is to be able to ensure that she and all who work in Jordan, all women everywhere, are able to do that. So why did we have a Security Council resolution? Why did we have Security Council Resolution 1325 and then 2242 a few years later? Because there are universal issues, challenges that we're trying to address. It's not just about combating the extreme examples of ongoing conflict and violence against women and girls, although again, all the evidence is that they suffer disproportionately, and surely when we saw Daesh putting the subjugation of women and children at the center of their agenda, it's right that we put women and children at the center of our efforts to combat that. But it's also the reason we have a Security Council resolution, because it's the normal, everyday, and less remarked on incidents of rape, of sexual violence, of poverty, displacement, just sheer everyday inequality that so diminishes the role of women and prevents them playing their full role. And that's just as much as, the case across the world. It's the case in the UK. We have had 4 national action plans now to try and get at this issue. And it's important in doing this that we engage men and boys as much as women as partners in promoting women's participation and in the prevention and resolution of armed conflict. I thought for a moment I should, if you understand me, that I should sort of apologize for not being a woman standing here. But then I thought, actually, it's as important that men stand up and take ownership of this agenda as it is of women. And so we had the 4 pillars of the UN Security Council resolution. If you think of them as 3 Ps and 2 Rs, women's equal participation, the prevention of conflict and all forms of violence against women and girls, the protection and promotion of women's rights in conflict, and then the 2 Rs, relief and recovery. All of them intensely relevant to Jordan. And so we have, deriving from those, the 4 pillars of the Jordanian National Action Plan around achieving gender responsiveness and the meaningful participation of women in the security sector and in peace organizations, achieving the meaningful participation of women in preventing radicalization and violent extremism and in national and regional peace building, around ensuring the availability of gender-sensitive humanitarian services, and fostering a community culture that recognizes the gender needs and the importance of gender equality and the role of women, including young women, in building peace and security. And I would like to echo the tribute paid to Dr. Nimtz and the Jordanian National Commission for Women, with the active support of UN Women, in over so many years building up a really participative national action plan with civil society, in which so many of you all here today and beyond feel ownership. And it's obviously, this is great, and it goes on for, nearly 100 pages. The important thing now is that we translate the words into action. And that's why we will be funding half of the cost over the next 4 years of implementing this plan. But why? Because we are increasingly seeing that women, when they wield power in places of conflict, they're capable of bringing about extraordinary change. When women have a seat at the negotiating table, the quality of security improves. The evidence shows that when women have been involved in the negotiation of a peace agreement, that peace agreement lasts 35% longer than when just men have been doing it. And other development initiatives become more effective. So the Women, Peace and Security agenda benefits everyone, from the local community to national government, and then everyone in between. Peace brings stability, stability attracts business, business creates prosperity, which transforms lives and economies. So it's not just the right thing to do, it's surely the sensible, the smart thing to do. Its benefits ripple out right across the wider world. So it's this spirit of participation, this principle of women as agents of change, that lies at the heart of our own national action plan in the UK, and I'm sure in Jordan too. It's about putting women at the very centre of peace and security in our humanitarian and security programmes, but it's also about taking proper account of women's needs, whether in the conflict zone itself or in those around those conflict zones. And it means recognising the essential role women play as decision makers and leaders in our society as a whole. And for that, we need women to be involved in the planning at every stage. So congratulations again to the JNCW, to the government of Jordan who have adopted this plan, and we look forward to working with you very closely on its implementation. Thank you very much.